Give us 2 hours and we'll strengthen the ties that bind us as a people. And so I say good morning. Hello, Connecting the Dots family. Hello, friends, peeps, first-time listeners and viewers. Hello, all. Welcome to another edition of Connecting the Dots on DBS Radio. On this lovely Saturday, I greet you from the Ted Daily Studio at DBS Radio. Our house is located on Victoria Street. A busy street, especially in a few days ago. Yeah, in recent days. So we welcome you to Connecting the Dots. Every Saturday, we meet and we have fun. Should be another interesting program today as we connect, as we link up, as we make it happen, as we stick to the agenda that we set many years ago. Okay, so let's begin officially as I welcome you to Connecting the Dots. We are ready. The end of a week that has taught us so many lessons. Yeah, what a week it was, huh? But how do we move on? No, amidst a tense period. This lingers on my mind. Let's call NIgel to say a prayer very early. NIgel, come on, well done. How are you, NIgel?
How are you doing, my dear? How are you doing?
I'm doing. I'm okay. I'm okay.
You're okay. You're hanging in there and making it happen, right?
Yeah, man. So I was asking to say a prayer, and then we're going to the bushy to give Dominica a bath. I know we have our prayer, so we'll bring on our official prayer.
It's been one of those weeks and one of those days. These are the days, yeah? These are the days
of darkness.
But yeah, I mean, we just celebrated Carnival as one people, and we placed ourselves out there on the map and let the world know how united and beautiful and lovely we are. And we decided to turn things around in less than that time, so we got to get back to that celebration and that unity and that love and that togetherness that was spread just about a month ago. Less than that.
So we're going in the bush with NIgel. We're going to take a bath.
Yes.
Give Dominica a bath from head to toe. So bring all the bush that's in your backyard. The glory cedar, the hibiscus, the watchet.
Yeah, we're doing like caress.
The zeb shepherd, everything. Yes, right. Yes. Take all the bush with you, but leave the stones behind. We are giving Dominica.
We don't need that. We don't need that.
So if you get stones and sticks when you're not taking the bush, it's okay. You can leave that behind.
Yes.
Yeah, man. What a week. But NIgel, you remember when Lent was a very sacred season, very sacrosanct? My grandmother would tap my forehead with anointing oil, and I would be walking to school with my baby powder around my neck, from the oil shining on my forehead, and all of that, NIgel. I was like a walking time bomb. But I'm just saying all of this to say, but that was abuse, maybe. I think that was abuse.
They would see your forehead before they see you. The oil was so.
Yeah. But I'm just saying all of this to say, NIgel, when we look at it, I mean, so much has changed, so much has changed. I remember that period had to be like a quiet period, and what do you remember, NIgel?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I mean, you remember it was a time when you almost felt like you couldn't talk, you couldn't say much. You had to, speak a different way. Music was different, we didn't used to, there were certain songs that would not be played, especially Calypso was off. That was a no-no. And it was a period of nice, quiet reflection. And as you mentioned, especially for the kids, it must have been difficult because I think Friday was no meat, you couldn't eat meat on the Friday and stuff like that. And, until, the Good Friday passed. So it was that period of time where it was, very reflective and very sacred, and we kind of respected that, Times have changed, But I'm beginning to wonder if maybe not. We probably need to go back to
Well,
the
I don't know.
reason.
I don't know about going back to. I don't know if we can go back to this. Seriously.
Maybe all the things that we
We
had to do.
can't.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Maybe all the crosses and the oil and not talking and being quiet and and all that. Maybe all that we don't need to revisit that, but. It's always good to reflect, man. Always good to have a nice period of reflection and gratitude and just chilling.
It was a boring period though back then. It was kind of boring. when you I mean, when you grew up in it, obviously it was okay. But no, looking back, it was boring. Although I should reverse the comment and say, in fact, I'll take it back because we had kite flying. Around that time we had a lot of rounders going on, hopscotch, ring games, and the like. That would be the thing during that time. Yeah.
We were preparing for that.
So
preparing
much has
for
changed.
retreat. Used to have Lent and retreat.
Oh yes, the retreat.
Yes, we're preparing for the retreat, man.
Retreat
was that week you have men's retreat
and man, retreat. that was a big thing, back in the day.
That was a big thing, man.
Yes, the church would be packed for the men's retreat and the women's retreat, and so much has changed.
Yeah. So but we still have retreat, right? I mean,
retreats are still on. Yes, it's not.
I know they have a youth. Is there a youth one now or something like that?
Yes, there's a youth retreat as well.
It's still just men, women.
No, there's a youth retreat as well.
There's a youth retreat as well. Okay.
I know during COVID we had it used to be like a joint retreat. So because of COVID, so everybody would come to the retreat. But there's men's retreat, there's women's retreat, there's youth retreat as well.
Okay.
Not
yes.
Not a packed church as before, but. Yeah.
Oh yes. It used to be packed, man, because you would go in there expecting, some good stuff to happen during that week for your quiet reflections and prayer and everything else.
Yeah.
And for some reason, them priests used to have more of a vavam. They have more of a I don't know what used to happen to them, but they would get into it and do the preaching.
Yeah, man. There was a vavum in the place before, but. Yeah, so much has changed, So but we
it has, and we have to, in a way, embrace change, and at the same time recognize the importance that it played in our lives to get us here we are today. So,
Yeah, man.
Yes.
Anybody in the book, NIgel? What is happening?
Maybe we should have had retreat last week. We would have what happened. It's been a good week, though. It's been a good week. Hey, youngster, good morning to you, man. Good morning to you, youngster. We will
That's
connect
kind of
soon.
As a people, so yeah. Anybody in the book? I was asking. Let me see.
Yes. Let's see if there's anybody on the book. I know a few people who joined very early because they wanted to make sure, Jacqueline Stedman, happy Saturday to you as well. Edwina London from Houston, always there. Hey, good morning, bro. I'm Edgar. Edgar Hunter, that is, of course. Albert Garraway, family. He wants to say family. Wagwan, good morning. Sending blessings and prayers to you, all my DA peoples. And good morning to you, Ivona and NIgel. City family. Good morning to you, Josephine. We appreciate that. Hey, my dear friend, Lauren Bannis Roberts. Good morning to you, my dear. Who else we have? Somebody says they can't wait for the guests. Carsim Birmingham. Shanice Slang. Hey, Shanice is there too because once you have Cassim, you're gonna have all the sister of singers.
One thing, I tell you,
singers.
They support this. Yeah, they support.
Good morning. Hey, Miguel Murphy. Appreciate it. Grand Rising. Good morning to you, my brother.
Lauren is there as
Sandra
well.
Norris. Good morning. She says good morning to Ivona and NIgel. I'm excited to hear the story, Cassim's story. Okay. Yes.
Yeah, and interesting story. So yeah.
I haven't tuned to the YouTube side of things, but I'm pretty sure there are a few folks out there as well. So good morning to you on the YouTube side. Appreciate you as always connecting, man.
I know some people tell me, NIgel, when I meet some people, they tell me, boy, I always listen, but most times they would listen like later because Saturdays, normally a busy day for a lot of people. So.
Right,
but that's okay,
right.
And
yes,
so that is the beauty of
true,
having it on YouTube and on Facebook, on social media, so you can always go back So you missed it, so you can go back to it. And yeah, so a lot of people are busy doing, about doing the business. So a lady told me that, I work, on a Saturday, but it's kind of difficult for me to, yeah, so that happens. But we are happy that whoever is here, we are happy. By the way, NIgel, so I got a note from Fadul this morning when I came in. So NIgel, remember I told you about a registrar of professionals that
Yes.
I have spoken to Miss Martin about, Cecilia about. I actually will definitely have to work on this. I mean, sometimes it just slips my mind, but I think we really have to work on this, especially now. And, especially where health is concerned, so that the registrar will have a lot of health professionals, especially Dominicans who reside abroad. And so NIgel, we definitely have to work on that. So we have to make this, priority.
We have to make it happen,
list.
right?
So yeah, we must make this happen,
Let's
right?
put it at the top of the list, top of the to-do list.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So
Definitely so.
So everybody who is here, welcome. We are happy to have you as part of the family. And NIgel, so let's go to the Dominica corner to bring on our guest because we have to talk a lot. And then we'll pray, of course, after the Dominica corner. And yeah, we'll start the vibes. Whose turn is it? My turn, man.
Your turn.
Boy, it's always my turn. Why women bad to me, boy? Always my turn. Come on, Ivona. That's unfair, Ivona.
Your turn.
You need to do better than that, man. Look, I'm sweating there, boy. Put on that AC. Yeah, so okay, so it's my turn. What do I ask? Okay, I'll ask something with the guest. He's wrong, right? I guess. I hope. Okay, man.
He was there very
early. In fact,
welcome for him to come on.
Yes, in fact, right after the Wednesday night, right after NIgel, I called Cassim, like right after, and I got Cassim. No, I'm just saying that because although I expect him to be busy at that time, although what transpired had happened already, but I just expect him to be busy at that time. And Cassim answered on the first call. As soon as I called Cassim, he answered.
Yeah, we on speed dial.
Well, Cassim is part of DBS, So since Cassim was a little boy, Cassim was always at DBS radio. And then he decided to enter the DBS Christmas Song Contest. But anyway, when he comes on, we'll talk about all of this. So I will say it's my turn. So let's see how well you know our guest. So let's go. Our guest is originally from the community of
Soufriere.
Okay. He's an old boy. He's an old boy of.
You sure you want me to say that?
Whoosh. Hey, let me hold you there in your skin. He's an old boy of.
Hey, Cassim, which school you go to? Those just
anybody
nobody can
see.
Don't talk, but nobody can see you, only me. So I can read your lips. Which school you go to?
He's an old boy of. Let me see if anybody.
That's why they want to say it, But of course, it must be SME.
Okay. Somebody give you the answer, NIgel. Somebody give you the answer, right?
Yeah,
just admit it. Just admit it. Anyway, let's not go there.
That's what we produce.
Let's not go there.
Oh, by the way, good morning to all the SME old boys. Don't forget, alumni project is on. Make sure you contribute and make sure you're part of the roof project. Contact me, contact Alvin Thomas, Miguel Murphy, and everybody else. Good. SME, what are you doing? All right, next.
You want more time? Too? Yeah, you can go on, you can take the whole hour. You want more time?
I will make him say so. Go ahead.
It's all right. It's okay. Okay, how many times did Carsim Birmingham win the DBS Christmas Song Contest?
That's a difficult one.
If I really know
those
that,
on the book help me out.
I'm not too clear with my answer though.
Those on the book help me out there. How many times he won the DBS Christmas Song Contest?
I think he would have entered in very early, maybe 2015.
But I'm gonna say I know it's more than 2 times, but I'm trying to see if I have a number. I'm just going to take a guess, and when he comes, he'll let us know for sure if my guess was correct. So I'm going to say 2 times. I'm going to say 2 times.
Boy, let me see.
I correct him?
I'm not sure you know.
Remember, nobody
Cassim helping you. That's not fair. 3 times. I think somebody have it. I think it's 3 times, for sure.
Somebody said 3 times? Okay.
Goes to my... Wow.
All right. So, He will let us know. He will let us know.
Somebody saying
I
twice
guess
as well.
two,
I
but
think
three
it's three,
times.
you know.
Okay.
I really think it's... And by the way,
You
he has to
really
sing a
think it's three?
Christmas song for us. I don't know about that, eh? He can say Easter. But there's a song I want him to sing when he comes on, walking down Christmas Street, or he can say Easter Street. But yeah, so I think it's 3 times. But he'll correct that. Okay, one more question. What question do I ask? What year did he win the Domfesta song competition? So I'm relying on you for the answer because I really can't remember what you do. Was it 2019?
Hard questions.
Was it,
let's see.
what year? Ask him now,
What
Nigel.
year? Domfesta
helping
song
you, so
contest.
ask him.
Let me see. Before I ask him, hold on, man. Hey, what
I'm not sure. I don't know it myself. It could be 2019, you know. Well, let me just do a quick Google shit. So
no, it can't be 19.
2019, no? 2018, 27. No, 2018 was the year. When was Maria? Maria was in 2017. He sang a song talking about that. He sang a song about Maria can't take our Christmas, you know, something like that. So maybe so he has to sing 2 Christmas songs already.
Or 2019. I'm going to go with 2019.
2019?
Yeah, I don't know.
Jamal is saying 2019.
I might be wrong, but I'll stick with 2019.
Okay, 2019.
2019 was when he won the Domfesta. I'll leave it as that.
Look, somebody agreeing with me, you know, for him to sing the Christmas song, even though we're in Lent. And I agree with you as well. I agree with you. So we can let him sing.
Bobby
Thomas, Clifford Joseph, so many people. Well, yes, both of us wrong together. Nigel, let us pretend.
If I write, it's me alone not right. Okay.
Yes, sir, boy, Nigel. Anyway. Okay, so let us pray, and then we bring on our guests. We're ready to pray, right?
Yes.
We can go ahead and for prayer. So let's go.
Heavenly Father, creator of mankind and the universe, we thank thee for the gift of life today and all the blessings you continue to bestow on your children.
We seek your presence and intervention throughout this program, and we ask that you keep us connected always.
We also pray for the success of the program, its coordinators and listeners, that they may find purpose and enjoy what we share.
Bless our radio station and the nation, and may we grow to love and unite with each other, irrespective of our differences.
All this we ask in your name, now and forever. Amen.
Amen. Nigel, this is so soothing, you know, seriously. You know, sometimes we are so fast-paced and, you know, in life, I mean, you know, we just want to do things and do things busy and, you know, all over the place. But when you can take your time and recite a prayer, how it should be done, you know, this is just, wow, marvelous, Nigel. Seriously.
Yes.
Because a prayer, especially when you're reciting a prayer, it has to be done well. It is not something you should rush. You need to put yourself in that, you know, state of reverence and take your time. You know, like, oh, Father, I love you. Nah. So you say, oh, Father.
No.
You know,
Yes.
So I really love this. So sometimes I just like put it on in my vehicle when I'm driving. I'm just, you know, I just take it in.
So appreciative of that.
Yeah.
Thank you to our 2 lovely daughters.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Appreciative of that.
Yes. Okay, so let's bring him on, Nigel. He's here now?
He's there, man. He's
here. The man is well disciplined.
He just went to get some water.
The man is well disciplined.
So you're telling me you have to sing. So you went to get some water. But he's
Cassim
there.
is so well disciplined. And Nigel, I mean, I remember Cassim as a little boy, you know, as I said, coming to DBS. So well disciplined.
Running around inside DBS.
And he would always greet you. And my goodness, man. Anyway, we'll talk about that. So let me bring on the guests. I'll start first. You'll follow. Boy.
You're first.
Boy. Me. Anyway, so wow. Okay, how do I bring him on, Nigel? You'll do the drum roll. I'll prepare a meal, like give a recipe as I bring. Whoosh. Okay, so let's go with the recipe. Okay, so you
give a good welcome, DBS welcome.
Yes. We're giving you a good DBS welcome. But I'm also asking people to take a fine talent from a vibrant fishing village of Sofria in Dominica, and you put it in a pot. Okay, so after this is done, you have to stir in some good manners, you know, with a dash of good cooking skills, because Cassim can do that as well, and add a drop of financial advice, you know, mix as well with linguistic skills, and throw in a huge smile, with a heavy pot of great singing ability. Well, where are you going with that now?
But you're going well.
And set to cool. And set to cool. Adding a buzzer as well. That golden. Well, we'll talk about that. And so adding all of this, and voila, you have Carsim Birmingham. So NIgel, you'll add more to that recipe.
You can't add much more to that recipe. The only thing else we can add is now that everything has been there, you prepare to cook and prepare to be served, which he's going to do for us in a few. So now that we have the recipe and we've already going to mix everything, it's on the fire, it's on the pot, and then we're getting ready to have it served to you for the next hour plus. Yes.
I'm going to be walking down Christmas Street.
Good morning. Welcome to Connecting the Dots. Welcome to DBS again. And of course, it is a pleasure to have you and a pleasure to reconnect with you as well. So, special good morning. How are you?
Thank you. Thank you so much. Good morning to you both, Ivona and NIgel. Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure. I want to say that I'm great, but I can say that I'm tired because it's kind of early on my end because I'm 3 hours behind you guys.
So we even appreciate it even more that we woke you up in your bed early this morning to share your journey and share your story and everything.
It's for a good it's for a good purpose. So I guess it's not all bad.
You see how the manager he's well spoken and he's I mean what school you went to get, NIgel?
Tell her again.
SMA.
Thank you.
Whoosh.
I mean, that's what we do. We create the foundation for our young men to ensure that they can thrive in whatever industry they decide to go to. So yes. And we'll talk a little bit more about SMA when we get the journey and everything else, take
your food. Take your food. Talk all about SMA. It's okay. It's all right. Go ahead. Yeah, SMA. Yeah, you have an hour and a half now. Just talk about SMA.
Yes, SMA.
Anyway.
Don't forget the project, SMA. So, of course, I'm Cassim. Before we get to SMA, there's a journey before that. There was a foundation laid before that. And, one of the things we like to do when we have our guests is to connect with them and to find out that journey and, where they are eventually today. But before they got there, there would have been, some other steps before that.
Yes.
So, again, for those who may not know, and I'm pretty sure by now most people do, but for those who don't, again, just let us know what community that you're from and grew up and all the rest of it.
Of course, sounds great. So I'm from, as Ivona mentioned, the fishing community of Soufriere. When someone asks me where I'm from, I usually like to say just Kashaku because I think it sounds more grand.
Yes, I tell you.
I like that.
Thank you. So I'm from Soufriere. It's a very small community, very tight-knit, I should say. And I started singing from what my mom said from the age of 5. And I think I only started realizing how much I enjoy singing and wanted to pursue singing from the age of 12. And I think that was also around the time where I got accepted to go to SMA. So it was a bit of a combination of things. So I realized that I was a singer and I was telling to myself, oh my God, it's something that I'm a little bit better than, and I'm better in comparison to the other things. And I noticed that there wasn't a lot of guys who sang like me. I noticed that, my voice was a little bit higher. You know how they have like the choir tenors, the younger tenors, and, their voice is still high pitched. And I noticed it's something that I really loved doing. And I noticed it was something that I would want to pursue when I started going to SMA. And I think at the time there was Mr. Elwin, may his soul rest in peace, who noticed my talent. And I think I had to sing in front of everyone in SMA a quick song. And I think it also coincided with the same time that I participated with the QTS. So that was one of my first competitions that I took part in. And that was in 2013. So that was the first competition I ever won, the first stage that I ever was on. And it was incredible at that time. And knowing that it's the journey that I started on, it's even more incredible. In terms of other competitive stances that I've taken in Dominica, I would have gone on.
Pause, Cassim. Pause. Yeah. Pause. We're gonna pause you because we want to go back a little to the Soufriere first. So we'll come back to 2013 and the QTS. But in Soufriere at the time when you went to preschool there and so on, you say you probably found out at 5, maybe your mom told you could sing this. Do you remember, like, in class, maybe like the nursery rhymes or singing along or anything like that?
I think it all feels like a blur right now,
Okay.
but I do remember like realizing that I was always trying to do more musically than what the song wanted or expected of me than everybody else. So
Okay.
if the song requested that I sing da 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 da, I would want to do da 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 da. I would want to do more of it.
Okay.
And that's where I realized, oh my God, it's maybe like an artistic thing. It's something that I really wanted to, add a flair to at my younger days.
Yes. But what was it like growing up in Sufre? Did you used to like go to the beach or to the,
Yeah.
what young days?
I think growing up in Sufre was very beautiful. I think now that I'm older, I can really appreciate it more because you sometimes don't appreciate what you have until it's lost. And I think growing up in Sufre, knowing how close I had the fishing community there, I had the Sulphur Springs, I had the Tombolo in Scott's Head, which is a marvelous view and a feat to witness by tourists. And growing up in Sufre, I just told myself, that's the ordinary. I didn't take how tight-knit we were as a community and how beautiful it was just growing up there every day and living there with my family was until I actually left and witnessed it from the outside perspective.
Interesting. So, but were we in a like choir at church or any other group that you're involved in?
I wasn't really in choir in Sufre, unfortunately. I maybe dabbled sometimes, when I was, asked to sing at church, probably at like funerals or like weddings, but I was never like in choir consistently. Because I always felt, in one way that I loved gospel, but in some way the structure of like hymns were not really what I really loved in a sense.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, NIgel, I like that. The structure of hymns were not really
like the whole foundation
yeah.
and the closeness of Sufre and everything that happened there. So then from Sufre, in terms of school, you then left the prime. You went to the Sufre primary school. Is there a primary school there? Or?
Yes, there was a primary school there. So I went to Sufre Primary, I think, for just up to second grade. And then I was transferred to the Newtown Primary School to finish like my studies. And then that's when I went to SMA. And even at Newtown Primary School, I remember the principal who was there at the time. We had several ones. I think we had like Sonia Williams and Mr. Coppell. I don't know if the individuals know him, but I remember him telling me when I was in Newtown Primary that one of the classmates, a girl that I used to sing with, has a good voice. And he mentioned mine as a beautiful voice. And it was one of the markers in my, upbringing that I really remembered because it was so simplistic, but I knew that it had a more grander sense to it.
Interesting.
You remember any of them little school songs you used to sing? I mean,
nice. You take that from me. You take my notes.
No, you don't remember. I see your notes. I steal it.
Some of these songs. There was one song that I used to sing. I think it was in like grade 4, and I don't know if I can remember it.
Okay.
But I know that it was something very slow. I think I loved all of the songs generally. Like we used to sing like "Lean on Me." I am like spelling out I am WOND, and I always used to put like a flair on those. Yeah.
Do you remember "Lean on Me"? That you used to be singing "Lean on Me."
Yeah.
You want to sing a verse for us? Sing a verse in that
so
song.
for Ivona, you're gonna sing a little bit of.
Well, Cassim, you have to sing a lot too. I hope your voice.
Of course, no problem. I can
even
do
Christmas
that.
songs you have to sing.
Sing for Ivona.
Lean on me when you're not strong. I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long. I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. Of course, I didn't sing it like that at that time.
At that time, yes. But it's also one of my favorite songs as well too. From that, yes, definitely so. So, Ivona, are you happy? You got a little bit of the song?
I was waiting on more, but it's okay. He's
You
okay.
have more to come, don't
Yes,
worry.
there's more to come. I have a mic. I can speak, so I can always ask for what I want. So that's all right. But Nigel, so I'm just thinking, just thinking back to Wednesday because I cried like a baby. But that wasn't the first time I cried, when Cassim sang. Because when he first entered the DBS Christmas Song Contest in 2015, of course, we knew him then because he was, like always at DBS Radio. Nigel, my play way.
You play with.
Yeah, man. And every year you would come and I was like zeze with tears streaming down my face. Because to look at a young man, with so much sing that ability to sing well and to deliver well, not just sing well, to deliver well and to take songs that are vocally challenging and come on stage and present and not be swayed by the fact that people are clapping and screaming. This is a lot, Nigel. This is a lot.
And I know we'll find out from Cassim when that happened, that moment, what it felt like, even if he might have said it before, but there's not. So
we'll go there.
Different.
We'll go. But I'm just thinking, to have a dream, Nigel, because see what he mentioned. And he mentioned Mr. Coppell and Sonia Williams at the Newton School. But to have a dream from a very tender age, and to hone your skills and turn this dream into a reality is a remarkable feat. Well, we'll go there. But I'm thinking of that Christmas song. I don't know. I want that Christmas song to come out of my mind. So if Cassim sing
that
it,
Christmas song in your mind, it'll come just now.
All right. Okay.
We continue our journey.
I'll contain myself.
Yes.
So where do we go to now?
So Cassim, we're now at Newton Primary, and then of course from the Newton Primary. By the way, when you were in Newton Primary, were you involved in other activities, be it sports or be it or was it just kind of music that was in the back of your mind?
Yes, I think I didn't really do the stereotypical things that the guys would do, play sports. I participated in the sporting activities, but I wasn't a rising star in sports as we have now. I think I just relied on my musical strength and the talent, and because I didn't have too much of an avenue for that at that age, it was something that I just worked on for myself.
But yes, you have this innate ability, and you hone your skills from since you're at tender age. You love to. But what about music? What was it? At what point did you discover, okay, I must do this? Was it a song that you heard? Were you looking at a lot of television in those days, and you just like the movie channels, the channels where of course people were singing? What drew you really to music?
I think it was Disney Channel. I think Disney Channel was a huge staple with me getting involved in music, because I would always look at shows like Hannah Montana or like this, on the Disney shows with Demi Lovato, when they would be singing. They would have shows that were structured in a competitive sense of singing. And I remembered when they did stuff on the show that I would try to imitate it as well. And I realized that I could do it. And I was like, I know that we don't have this physically where I am, but I know it's something that might be something that I can conquer. And I was thinking of doing it. And I started wishing to do it.
Nice. And that developed as we continue. By the way, good morning to you, Mr. Darrell Teet as well, who tells us that in Newton Primary it was something, say, in our work and in our play. I don't know what the rest is. If that was a particular song or something, or that's the motto of the school.
Yes, I think it was a motto, I think.
That's the school's motto.
Yes.
In our work and in our play.
Okay. So Darrell Teet went to Newton Primary. What school did he move on to next after Newton Primary?
We don't have to say that.
The Dominica Grammar School, I'll just say it.
Yes, he went to the Dominica Grammar School, yes. But Cassim went to SMA. So Cassim, from Newton Primary, of course, you would have gone to SMA.
Yes.
And would you say at SMA is where you began to really recognize that this is me, this is something I can really do in terms of the singing?
I think even at SMA, I don't think it was something that I was full circle about as yet. I think, I was like 12 when I started SMA. There was so many things happening around me in the world that I just knew that I had a gift. I didn't know exactly, if I wanted to dedicate my career to doing singing. I know that if it were to be something that I would take, it would be maybe 50% of my career. Because at that time, knowing that I didn't have so many opportunities in singing, other talents sort of flowed in, like cooking and wanting to flourish in culinary arts as well. So it was something that was still in its early stages. So I would say no. I was still on the fence about it and hoping to see it roll out in the way that I wanted.
What was it like at the SMA, man? How was the SMA for you?
I think SME for my first couple of years it was rough because I was trying to adjust from primary school to secondary school, and when you go into a high school, there are so many expectations of you, especially as a young guy. I was going there as a shy guy from Soufriere, and there were the Rosa boys who were more familiarized with the environment. So I had to basically adjust myself. I think at that age they were bullies, but I was always confident, and I never allowed that to stop me. So I could take a bully head on at my age.
So you experienced bullying at school?
Yes, I did. I think because I was more effeminate, I was more vocal about the things that I wanted. And young men sometimes don't exhibit passion. And I think when you exhibit that sort of feature and characteristic about yourself, they sometimes interpret it as weakness. And to me, that was my strength. So I was kind of criticized about it. They were telling me like my voice was too high, because at that time I was singing so much that my voice didn't resemble what was expected of a guy at that age. Yeah.
And I can well imagine maybe somebody else might have probably just recoiled and just say, let me just keep to myself. Let me not think because of that. Yeah. But you used it as the strength, used it as a kind of motivation to go further.
Exactly.
Yes.
Look at you now. Look at you.
Any singing that you did at SMA? Did you were there any competitions or just like in class or?
So I don't think there wasn't any competitions in like the classroom setting or anything in the school, but I know that I sang in front of the school. I think right after I won QTS, and it was just announced by Mr. Elwin that someone won a competition, and he made me sing something briefly at assembly, and I was so nervous. I remember like almost wanting to like go to the toilet. I was like, oh my God, I'm going to sing in front of SME. And I'd wanted to go into SME for a very long time because my brother had went there, my uncle had went there, and I was like, I'm going to sing in front of school that I had dreamed of. And I was very nervous. And during my time there at SME, I think I sang in the school choir with Mr. Paul, who was a light at SME for me for like 5 consecutive years. So my entire time of being at SME, I was in the choir.
But did you get a rousing applause after you sang? And in that level of bullying that would have faced, would it have subsided then, or?
Yes, I think it sort of subsided because now I was someone to look at as, oh my God, everyone is going to know this guy. So, that sort of negativity sort of declined. But still along the way, there were some factors that affected.
You remember the song that you sang at QTS?
But of course.
Yes.
Okay, so NIgel asked the question for me. I don't want to talk like I'm begging.
Yes. So obviously, we would like you to sing that part of a little bit of the song that you did in front of the SMS choir, the one that you won in QTS.
Of course, no problem. So for QTS, I remember there being 2 songs, and the second one that I sang, which was like the final performance, was called Jar of Hearts. It's one of my mom's favorite songs, and it goes, I know I can take one more step towards you, 'cause all that's waiting is regret. I don't remember all the words, but the pre-chorus is, I've had to live half a life, and now you want me one more time. And who do you think you are, running around leaving scars, collecting your jar of hearts and tearing love apart? You're gonna catch a cold from the ice inside your soul. So don't come back from me, don't come back at all. And who do you think you are, running around leaving scars, collecting your jar of hearts and tearing love apart? You're gonna catch a cold from the ice inside your soul. Don't come back from me, don't come back at all. Who do you think you are?
Cassim,
Like
Cassim, you like songs that challenges your vocal ability, right?
Yes, I do. Because I think you don't go hard enough if it's not challenging.
Interesting.
Man,
I can
I
never
can
sing
see
a
why
song
you
like
got
that.
that buzzer, but we'll talk about that.
You sing? You still sing in
I'm,
the bathroom, Cassim?
I do a little bit too much.
I can just imagine you singing that in
Yeah.
front of the SMA, I mean the SMA body,
Mhm,
at that particular age and having
mhm.
won QTS and you know.
Yes.
Do you remember? I mean, what inspired you to enter that competition, or was it something you just decided to do, or someone told you, "Hey, Kasim, you could probably do this"?
Yeah, I think it was kind of spontaneous. I think, after spending some time with my grandmother, like on the weekends, and always hearing people calling to Q95 to sing, I remember, almost exhibiting signs that I wanted to do it. And I think my grandmother realized that I wanted to. And then at the time, as I usually say, she gave me her Nokia phone to call in. And it was just something I just did. And I didn't even think before I did it. I was just, oh my God, I'm just going to do it. Yeah.
No butterflies when
Interesting,
you got there. No
interesting.
butterflies when you got on stage because that was your first time essentially going on stage.
Yes. I think I had a lot of butterflies because I did not have an experience like that before. And I think I didn't know what could come out of it. So I think I was more afraid of what was, how people say that people are not afraid of just things, they're afraid of the unknown. So I was afraid of the things that could come about that I wasn't aware of as yet.
Interesting way to put
Was there
this.
was there any special preparation that you had to for that, or you just knew that I can sing? Let me just go and do this.
Yeah, I think at that time it was just like raw talent. I wasn't even in the
Okay.
phase of just like warming ups and people do vocal warm-ups and all those things. It was just leave to prayer, perform on stage, and that was it.
Interesting. Okay, so you were at SMA still. You
So nice
stayed
to hear
there
you
for
say
five.
that.
It's okay. You stayed there for 5 years. Right. You stayed there for 5 years, obviously, and then of course, you start your exams. You left. Where was it? What was your next step?
My next step, I went to Dominica State College.
And you did what?
I studied three majors actually. I studied psychology, I studied French, and I studied English literature.
At that time, were you finding yourself more? Were you
I
like?
think I was. I think when I started college was a pivotal place in my life. I really cemented who I was. I think it was almost as if I was blossoming. And I felt it very, very early on in college because, it was a different sort of structure academically than high school. There was a little bit more freedom. There was a little bit more autonomy in terms of selection of classes. And it was something I just really enjoyed. So I really embraced myself at college.
So at that time, you were more vocal as well. Apart from your singing
Yes.
ability, you were more vocal, I guess. You would have
Yes, I
taken part in
was.
any, like, join any organization, any group around that time at the college or even outside.
Yeah, of course. I remember at college, there were a few groups that I was part of. I was part of the Glee Club, which is basically like a singing club. I was the president for 1 year there. I was part of like the DSC debates team as well. And then during the time of college, I was also a member of Cicero Singers. So all at once, I had a lot on my plate. My mom would always tell me, Cassim, you have too much on your plate. So those were like some of the activities that I pursued while still doing like a triple major at college.
And
I,
what you would
I
have
know you
faced
mentioned your.
at just on
Go
Nigel,
ahead, go ahead, go
what you
ahead.
would have faced at school. I just want to go back to the bullying because I want to tie it in with so many things. We have had young people
Yes,
on,
yes.
several times on the program, and that always comes up. So at
Mhm.
that time, you were at college, there was no more bullying, right?
There was still bullying at college, and I think it was it was a level of bullying that was lesser than me. I would say low. I would say it was subaltern because I think I had achieved such a sense of self at that time that I couldn't allow it
That's
to
it.
even perceive or like penetrate my subconscious or my consciousness. I think when I was at college, if any sort of bullying came to me, I looked at it face on, and I had to basically tell myself, Cassim, this is beyond you. And I don't think at that time it really affected me, but there was still bullying at that point in time.
But I wanted to ask you that question to empower other people, because I know a lot of young people who are going through this, bullying, and it's really not good. But when you make up your mind, to be confident about who you are, and wonderful. So that's
Thank
good.
you.
I just had to bring this up. So Nigel, you
asked
me.
I was gonna ask him in terms of, of course, you've mentioned your mom several times, and you're celebrating Women's History Month. And I'm sure your mom had a great impact, in your whole upbringing and foundation and everything else. Who is your mom, if you want to tell us? And what part do you think she's played, for you? I'm sorry, Cassim. I didn't mean to. I'm sorry.
Oh, he's crying.
It's okay.
No. I'm saying,
just take a deep breath.
Because even the reason I'm saying that, Cassim, is because I lost my mom like about 3 years ago too, and every now and again, like, yesterday was a birthday. 20th was a birthday. On Thursday. See, you almost make me pause as well, Cassim. And sometimes it happens because you remember how much your mom means to you, and So I totally understand this, and I totally get it. But we have to sometimes, give that love and that thanks to our mom, man, for what she's done for us. So I understand in terms of the pause, because it happened to me as well.
Yeah, I think anytime that I speak about my mom, it's very, very emotional. Like, I think I've even spoken to my friend Jenny, and she told me, Cassim, you need to maybe check that out because it really brings a lot of emotions that it's not per se being bottled up. It's just that it's something that I can't even control. So my mom, for the people who are listening, my mom is called Joan Birmingham, and she has been my number one supporter.
I know.
She has.
And take your time, because I'm telling you, man, a mother's love is all about.
She has been at all of my shows. She has been, as I explained, even on Canada's Got Talent, she has been my wardrobe mistress. I remember when I would go to QTS, we would go to Astafans and shop for some long sleeve shirts. Maybe they couldn't even fit me that good at the time, but she made sure that I looked spick and span good on that stage, and she has been invested in my life in a way that I cannot even describe. I think, as I explained to a lot of people, like, we don't even know the insurmountable amount of love that someone pours into you, and you can only realize it when you get a little bit older. And I'm just so appreciative of the fact that as an adult now, I have the ability to cherish her, to vocalize my appreciation of the things that she has done for me, and see it in real time, I should say.
Nigel, this is touching, because Cassim is speaking, and I'm just thinking back as well, and I know a lot about what he's saying. Seriously, I know about a lot about what he's saying, and it's wow. This is deep. This is deep. When you look at the progression, when you look at his story, and to talk about his mom, it brings tears, and I don't know, Nigel.
No, this is what it's all about. This is the connection. This is why we do connection.
A mother's love. A mother's love.
This is why we share that, mother's love, and the fact that you have someone in your corner that's going to be there for you regardless of through it all.
Because imagine, Nigel, I'm just thinking, imagine, a mother, because I'm a mother as well, and so imagine your child coming to tell you that he or she was bullied at school, and then you can just lose it, as a mother. You can just lose it. But you also have to calm yourself and try to calm your child. And then your child is growing up, and you've seen that child, getting stronger, but you're also seeing that child with that remarkable talent. And he has his dreams, and look at where his dreams has taken him. And I know Joan, wow, she may be crying now, Cassim.
Yes.
I know Lynn Faye's crying.
Joan,
I know Lynn Faye's crying.
Man. Big up yourself for what you've created and what you've nourished and laid the foundation and see what's happening today. So big up to yourself. Big up to yourself for that. We appreciate that.
Yeah.
You ever sang a song for your mom?
Wow.
I think I didn't really I didn't really sing songs like for her. Well, I did, but
Mm.
I think most of the times that I performed, she was, I think, one of the people in my mind that I really dedicated the songs that I sang to.
If you were to sing a
Yeah,
song, and you would dedicate it to your mom at this time, what song would that be? Of course, I wanted to sing the
I
song as
think
well.
I think it would be "I Will Always Love You."
So you want to sing that?
Yeah,
Of
hopefully if
course.
I can.
You
Yeah, and it's
can.
okay
You
if
can.
during it happens
You take a
because
Yeah.
pause if you have to.
yes, yes.
Um, and I will always love you. I will always love you, my darling, you. I think
Yes, yes.
Hey, look, me waiting for
Thank
Maui.
you, Cassim.
You mean Whitney
You
Houston's
want
song
more
was
now?
so short like that, no?
yeah,
Eh,
You
eh.
have more to do. You
I
have your
fix
Christmas
myself
song
there
for
waiting,
tennis
way.
to do. Yes,
Yeah,
this was just a
yeah.
line or two, you know.
Powerful words.
yeah,
Powerful words. So,
All
Cassim,
right, so Cassim, the journey continues, man. I know that part of the journey was important to you, and I'm happy you were able to share that part,
sure.
with your mom
yeah,
and that part of it. So all that's important and necessary as well, you know.
yeah. Thank
So
you.
yes. You mentioned Cicero singers as well. I know that people
Yeah,
like Auntie Pearl and the
yeah,
others who are Cicero singers played an important part in that foundation.
yeah.
What was it like in Cicero singers?
I think being a part of Cicero Singers was incredible. It was a lot of work in terms of doing production, but the people who make part of Cicero, I think, are such inspirational people because aside from their daily work lives, their personal things going on, they are part of, this group because they also have a passion within themselves for music and performance. And I think when I was a part of Cicero Singers, I had great connections with the group members like Shanika and Marie Pascal and Paul Christian. I remember when I started the Cicero Singers and, I saw Paul Christian walk into the room for the first time. It was such a grand aura. It was as if, there was so much passion instilled in her and I could see it wanting to be outpoured onto the lives of the members of Cicero Singers. And if anybody knows Paul Christian with the way that she holds herself very prideful to music and artistry, and she has a lot of discipline in a sense, so I think I had to learn a lot of that just by looking at the individual, not even if the idea that she possibly spoke to me directly, but just by being in her presence and the other members and seeing how we basically did it together. I think it was something that really enlightened me and pushed me to want to pursue music definitively.
I
Interesting.
love that. I love that. I love that journey with Cicero Singers, and Cicero Singers has done so much. By the
Yeah.
way, someone wrote a song for Ivona. It's called Greg Bannis Breaker. So you want to
Oh,
say good morning
oh,
to
he's on. That's
to
my
cool
boy.
as
That's
a
my
cucumber.
boy. Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
that's the boy.
yeah. He wrote a song for
Ophelia
me, cool
Marie,
as a
good morning to
cucumber.
you as well. Ophelia tells you
Yes.
congratulations, Cassim, and we shall watch you rise. So,
Yeah.
Ophelia
Ophelia
is
has
there.
been a great supporter of mine. So hi, Ophelia.
Yes.
Yes. So, I know Cicero Singers, they had a number of productions, and it's not just a group, but they do a lot of other stuff in terms of making sure the production is there and each person has a
Yeah.
part to play and so on and so on. Do you think that your time in Cicero Singers kind of helped you in knowing what the world of music is about and productions and lights and sound and all that stuff?
1000%. Because I think people who come to witness a Cicero Singers production, they see it as 3 nights of sensational rhythms. They see it as 3 nights of just, young people singing on stage. But the amount of work and the complexity that is done behind the scenes and the amount of time that is invested within choreographing, within, getting everybody to be on time in terms of all of their vocalizations, making sure that, we're pitch perfect, and also ensuring that our costumes are also functional and operational. There's a lot that goes into making it a remarkable show. And having it, done 3 times in a row, it's a remarkable feat. Not going to lie to you. And I think it definitely prepared me because I got to see firsthand, what it meant and what it was to actually prepare something of that size. I think I say size, not to say that it's, as big as something as Broadway, but in Dominica, that's what it is. I think if you were to look at something being of a production level, something that's Broadway resembling, it would be Cicero Singers. And I think it really cemented my passion for, stage and performance and wanting to evoke emotions onto the audience members. And that's one of the things that I cherish the most, yeah.
Okay.
So would you say this was the time when you said, this is it for Cassim? This is what I'm going to do?
Yes.
Music.
Yes. I think during rehearsals, there were some songs that we sang. I can't remember them word for word, Ivona. But there were some rehearsals when I would hear the blend of the other singers and the harmonies. I remember sometimes even crying at rehearsals.
Oh.
And it is because I was so emotional. And I realized that, oh my God, what we are doing is something that I really want to do. And sometimes when I heard some of the harmonies from the altos and the sopranos blending, I would get almost like an out-of-body experience. It would be so riveting hearing the harmonies. I would just cry sometimes. Even on stage, I think for my last production, I cried while we had to perform a song. And I had an audience member asking me, like, are you okay? And I was like, yes, I'm okay. I was just emotional on stage.
What month were you born, Cassim?
Sorry?
What month were you born? What month you
I was
celebrate?
born in May.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
This NIgel, I just love this. I'm not talking a lot because maybe I'm just like wow, but I really really love this. We want to get to the gold buzzer. Yes, I know a lot of people waiting for this. We will get there in
we'll
a short
while. We'll get to the gold
but
buzzer.
Cassim,
I know what to do with it.
So you also the DBS Christmas Song Contest. You also entered. You won 3 times, right?
Yes, 3 times.
So we were correct. So NIgel, you got the answer from Cassim.
Yes.
Oh, so Cassim, you gave him the answer.
Okay. Tell you yes.
So you won 3 times.
You have to use your resources.
Okay. So what prompted you though to take part in the DBS Christmas Song Contest?
I think because the DBS Song Contest. Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I think it sort of came as a spontaneous thing as well. After I had done, QTS under 16, I think I wanted to divert, my style of singing a little bit more to something that's a little bit more local, because I think the QTS under 16, the songs that we were singing were more of an Americanized version. We sang songs from artists back home, but I realized that the DBS Song Contest focused on, making original songs. And after, being friends with and witnessing Jenny Jackson's performance, I know she had won, I think two times or 3 times herself. And I looked at it and I was like, that's something that I could do, and I told myself, it would be so great to not just halt my participation in Dominica's musicality, and I wanted to take it a little bit further by doing something seasonal, like Christmas Song Contest, which is a great season that I love. So it just fitted in that way.
You remember a song that you sang at the DBS Christmas Song Contest?
I think
NIgel,
I remember them vaguely. I can remember maybe their titles. I think the first one that I sang was right after Erica.
Yes.
And I sang like My Sorrel and My Ginger Beer. Don't go back, Erica. Oh no, my dear. Something like that. And then I had like my last performance. I think it was the final I think the second time it was like Christmas Street.
Yeah. Tell me you remember this one. Because I really want you to.
Cause it's Christmas time, the end of another year. Oh, yes, cause it's Christmas time again. Something like that. But as soon as it comes, before you know it's gone, just another song, another celebration. So here we meet again on Christmas Street. Let's go and celebrate our Savior's birth. Come, let's celebrate. Come, let's celebrate. something like that. That's what I remember. I actually remember more than I thought.
Wow. You remember how you were dressed? I remember. But do you remember you were dressed?
Yes. Oh my God. I remember for that. I remember for that performance, my mom was like, Cassim, we have to deck you out. And I got like a whole white jacket made. I had like a cane. And I remember practicing in my grandmother's living room, and my aunt Magdalene telling me like, Cassim, this is how you have to use the cane. And she started standing up and demonstrating, and we had it jammed and stuff like that. And then we had just something very simplistic on stage, just myself, and we had a cinder block, I remember, on stage, just covered in a sheet. And then I had like a wine that I, used at the end of the performance. Very simplistic, but I guess, very impactful.
And then Fabella's at the backstage crying.
Yeah,
And
yes, as usual.
Tears, yeah. That was just
Yes.
something else.
Yes,
Okay, so
yes,
Nigel, where do we
there
go to next? We go into that place
Yes, we go
when you went to
because we
Canada.
talk about his cooking and,
Okay,
and
yes.
everything else. So we go in
Yeah.
there as well. But let me just say good morning to all those of you who are logged in,
Yes,
connecting.
yes.
We appreciate it. Janae Jackson tells you she celebrates you as well. Cassim, Shanice Langford tells you she appreciates you, celebrates you. Sister Singers is taking over. They want to congratulate you and everything
Thank
else.
you.
So, you appreciate that as well.
Yeah.
So
Thank
we
you.
have Cassim that was started off in Soufriere Primary, Newton Primary, SMA, and of course State College, and throughout the whole journey, different competitions, QTS, Christmas Song Contest, and all of that. Is it at this point in your journey that you decided to pursue music, or were you still kind of half-half?
I think at the end of everything and at the end of college, very near like leaving Dominica, I think I knew in my heart that music was going to be what was going to separate me from the rest of the crowd.
Yes, sir.
I knew that I had something a little bit more special, and not to sound like cocky or anything. I think,
No, you're not.
I think when you have something that's really embedded within yourself and it gives you that sort of tingling, it's something very unique. And I know every time that I sing and I close my eyes, I can see color. That's how I sort of explain it sometimes.
Wow.
This is deep.
Both.
Yeah.
I'm going back to this right after the
Yes.
program. I'm going back to this. This
That's powerful, Cassim. That's powerful. What about Cassim as a working individual? Did you work in Dominica
Yeah.
before you left?
Okay.
Yeah, I did. I worked, I think one of my first jobs that I had, like officially, besides working with my mom every Saturday, I think my first job was as one of the cooks at Petit Paris. I think it's now rebranded now to something Dominique.
Yeah.
And
It's
then I
rebranded.
think afterwards I started working at the Aid Bank. And then after the Aid Bank, that was like my final job in Dominica, and then I pursued my studies in Canada.
Cooking, before we get to the golden buzzer, because you seem to have a passion for cooking as well.
Yes.
Was that from an early age? And
I
how
think
did
it
that
was
come?
it was from a very early age because everyone in my family cooks. My grandmother is a top boss chef, at home, and my mom and my aunts. I should say all of my aunts, Auntie Magdalene, Auntie Glorin. My Auntie Glorin is in pastries and cake making, and my mom and my aunt Magdalene are very into catering for like parties and events. So I always had a very, broad palette. I was always involved in a lot of tasting and the art of presentation, so it was something that I was always immersed in. Yeah.
Oh. So okay, so you left Dominica and you went to Canada
Yeah.
to pursue your dreams, to continue your education. Tell us about how it was when you arrived there, because I mean we know Canada is well known for its cultural diversity. There is a how I'd call it, a multicultural identity that is very rich in Canada. So it's how I would say it. Is this like a natural environment for you, or was it like a natural environment for you when you arrived there maybe a few months after you realized, okay, I can fit in this multiculturalism place?
I think, with moving, there is always an identity crisis that somebody has because you're trying to fit into a space that is unfamiliar. There wasn't a person that I could say, "Bonjour, c'est un Dominican, that's a Dominican," and I can call them, or I could say, if I don't have something, I could go to the person. It was a bit of an unfamiliar environment. But nevertheless, I think I was always made for something bigger and a different environment. And I felt that, you know, despite it being different, I knew that it was somewhere that I was going to fit in. Or even if I had challenges, I would tell myself, Cassim, those challenges are just one step. And I knew that being in Canada it was almost like a breath of fresh air. I remember when I landed, it was snowing, and it was the first time that I saw snow. I started crying on the plane because, you know, my mom had always told me, you know, I would love to see the snow someday. And I knew that in that moment, I was living a dream of my... I was living a dream of my mom. And I remember telling her that. I was like, Mom, one day you're going to see the snow as well. And the fact that I got to see it before...
Yes. Take your time, my brother.
The fact that I got to see it before her, and that she had gave me all of the provisions to be in that space. I told myself when I went there, I had to do what I needed to do. There was no, you know, looking back and trying to do something different. I had to just had myself set on the goals that I had and, you know, just soak it all in. You know, and that's what I continue to do, and that's why I kept music, you know, and singing in my back pocket, just to, be in that new environment.
Yes. This is connecting the dots. So guess it's Carsim Birmingham. And Cassim is giving us his journey, his story, and in between, of course, the emotions are there because that's what it's all about. It has to be that way. Especially for those who've had such a tremendous impact in his life. So we appreciate you sharing that journey.
Of course. Just give me 1 second, please.
Sure.
Take your time.
NIgel, tell us what's on the book. What's happening? Tell us what's happening in the book.
Ivona is also crying with me, so we'll go to the book.
NIgel, tell me what's happening in the book.
I remember very clearly his first day at Newton Primary School. Juliana Boston, good morning to you. So talented, the sky's the limit. Cassim, keep rising. Susan Henderson wants to say congratulations, young man. We're proud of you. Of course, Alice Francis watching, but she's not saying nothing. But good morning to you, Alice, as well. Marvin Brady was listening on the radio, but I had to come on to say big congratulations to Cassim. Who is this? Glenda Shillingford Peters. Cassim is a natural. Who else is staying? So much stuff is going on there. Let's see, morning time, don't have nothing on that voice, boy. I think Shanice was telling you that. Shanice Langford was telling you morning time, don't have nothing on that voice. Jennifer Coffey says, mother's love is the best. I'm happy you're recognizing your mom. Blessings will follow on you. Maxine Allen Esprit. Proud of you, period. Proud of you recognizing and appreciating that. Some kids don't recognize their investments. So, I mean, it's a busy book today, Ivona, I can tell you that much. You guys making my
the tube as well is busy. The tube as well.
Gemma is saying, you guys making my nephew cry a lot today. Yes,
I should say that it's great. I should say that it's great questions.
Good tears.
Yeah.
Somebody send me something and say, NIgel, you just there on Facebook. What about YouTube?
Yeah, it's true.
All right.
Yeah.
So let's go to YouTube very quickly. I want to see what YouTube is saying before YouTube people give me my story. Let's see. YouTube, DBS YouTube. You have YouTube? Not yet? Let me get YouTube.
I was looking at something else. I was so
You're looking at something else.
Caught up in someone comments there. Okay, someone YouTube. Let me see.
Right here. Okay, let's see. Yes. YouTube is saying... let's see. Karen Elizabeth Thomas, good morning to you. Good weekend, Dominica. What excitement, Mr. Golden Buzzer Cassim. What talents. All the best on Canada's Got Talent. We're rooting for you. Proud of you. All the way to the finals. Lorna Lewis, congratulations, Cassim, calling all primary school. She's calling on all primary schools to have a boys choir. which is something that we probably want to find out from you, Cassim, in a little bit. Decima Roy, blessed Saturday. Good morning to you. Gloria Augustus, good morning to you. Congratulations again. Continue to advance to the stars. And so YouTube is very, very busy as well too. All right, so Cassim, in terms of, so I can try and have both now.
But NIgel, even before you ask your question, I'm just thinking, Cassim, how do you contain yourself though? Because I mean, you're like emotionally charged. Maybe like me, I cry quickly. My goodness, I cry quickly. Because I just want to just put off my camera and just burst a cry there. Seriously. But NIgel, look, I even forget the question I was going to ask.
You forget what you're going to ask.
You can't even forget
okay.
it. No. So how do you contain yourself when you're singing? And maybe there's a line in a particular song that will touch you. And maybe the emotions, you just like feel like, how do you contain yourself?
I think when I, go into performing, I don't think of, trying to contain myself, because I'm, so full of anxiety. And it's not, sometimes people say like, you have stage fright. But for me, I cannot really explain that it's stage fright, because I'm not afraid of the people in the crowd. I'm usually having expectations set in my mind of what I want my performance to look like. And I'm scared of not achieving that performance. So it's not more so of the people, but more so of a self-critical thing that I do. So I usually just tell myself, Cassim, just show your talent. And I think that in itself works, and allows me to, contain the emotions. But I think, as we saw in my audition, I think near the end, when I realized that it was coming full circle, it was very, very hard for me to continue saying those words, because I realized that, oh my God, like I'm actually in a space. Like, I think when I started singing, it felt like a dream. But when it ended, I came back to reality, and I was like seeing myself actually on stage from the outside. And I was like, wow, Cassim, like this is actually happening. So I think you can let it out now. Yeah.
We're going to that moment in a short while, but are you also hard on yourself? Like maybe after a performance or even before a performance, and you talk to yourself and you're hard on yourself?
Yes, I am. I usually think that I'm a perfectionist a little bit. I remember even in DBS Song Contest, even when I, sometimes felt that I would win, I remember backstage being hard on myself. And, if I didn't sing a note specifically correct, I would be like, I didn't sing that well. Even if I know I got a standing ovation, I would go back and I would be very critical of what I had done on stage, because that's how I would improve. That's how I would make, choices within my next performance that was coming to build upon what I know that I didn't do the last time. And I think there was even one time when I was doing a performance, it was for MMTS, and I performed like before being chosen to go to the Bahamas. I remember finishing singing and I just cried, because it was not what I was expecting. And it was not what I wanted. And I just started crying. And I remember Karen Moise telling me, Cassim, you're good. It was great. And I was saying to myself, was it? Even though it maybe was in actuality, but I can't really hear myself. Yeah.
Before Canada Got Talent, when you got to Canada, did you take part in any other competitions? Did you get involved in any choir whilst you were up there studying?
So in Canada, I think at my university that I attended, there was so much going on, and I tried to fit in as much as I could. There was like an a cappella group that I joined very briefly. And it was basically a large group that had been organized, and I was a member of it for a short time, but because of, the demand of my studies and me doing part-time work as well as an international student, I had to sort of leave it. And, just focus on the two main things that were going to be sustainable, I think, for the near future.
Now, as you mentioned, a large group, I'm just thinking as well, just going back to a question I asked you prior. But I'm just thinking, you left Soufriere and you had to adapt to a different experience, in a country which consists of people from all over, a multitude of racial, religious, and cultural backgrounds. How did that... Was it difficult for you at the beginning?
To be honest, I never really saw myself having an issue of fitting in. Okay. I think the biggest challenge that I had was being accepted, which is a little bit different. I think no matter which environment that I went into, I was going to be a shining star. Like I usually tell like my friends Jenny and Shanice, I'm a spark of light. And whatever environment that I go to, it could be one that's, different demographically, racially, I would fit in because my personality is one that really embraces everybody. And, just being in Dominica, I know that you only see black people. You only see people who look like you. But I always knew in Dominica that I was more diverse than that. I wanted to see more than that. And I think when I went there, it was just a matter of just allowing it to flourish. And I think it was beautiful. I can say that. So I didn't have any challenges, in being around people and fitting in. I think it was just maybe me telling my story and allowing people to accept me. That was maybe something that was a little bit more trivial.
Interesting.
And in terms of the music though, even trying to fit in, because something that I found is in terms of your, the genre of music that you do or prefer or have a liking to.
Yeah.
Coming from Dominica, they probably didn't expect, for you to have to be in that kind of a genre of music. Which genre of music do you prefer, or you have no preference? It doesn't really matter to you.
So surprisingly, coming from Dominica, like we have our bouillon, we have our calypso and stuff like that. But I wasn't ever really vocal within those genres because I felt, at that age they didn't really speak to me as compared to the ones that I actually love. So I used to tell myself that I'm a very old person on the inside. So I love ballads. I love Whitney Houston's. I love Luther Vandross. I love Patti LaBelle, and songs that like would make you really want to clean at the same time on a Sunday and play it in the background, and it's just very emotional. Those are the songs that I really gravitate towards. Any song that was very really 80s, 70s coded was really what I really loved. So the ballads, the I Will Always Love Yous, the Luther Vandross, like Dance With My Father Again, those kind of slow songs. And it was kind of different because everybody else that was around me really loved like pop culture, like To the Bone, and it was very more of a youth sound, early 2000s kind of sound. But I noticed that everyone else was different around me in terms of the genre preferences,
Interesting, because maybe you might do a booyah song in the finals. Anyway, but I know we're getting to the buzzer.
Oh yeah, we're going there
because we have to get there.
Yeah.
So prior to that, you were saying you were just involved in one or two little groups, but not really singing as much, and so on. What made you decide to go into Canada Got Talent?
Yeah, so I think I always had Canada's Got Talent, so to speak, in my back pocket. I knew that when I left Dominica, there was a bigger dream that I had to achieve. And when I left, I didn't know exactly if it would be Canada's Got Talent. And once I did some more digging in terms of finding out like my eligibility and, like what status I needed to be able to perform on the stage, I told myself, okay, Cassim, you can achieve this, but first let's, lay ground, have a good job, finish your studies. And once you've finished, the things that would cement you career-wise in the future, not saying that music can't do that, but, if something were to not happen with music, at least I have a safe ground. And I told myself, Cassim, once you're done studying, right after, it's Canada's Got Talent. And I remember when I graduated from UBC, I made a post on Facebook, saying thank you. And I said at the end, like, look out to your screens. And I didn't even know that it was going to be Canada's Got Talent. I knew that I would take that step. And I decided to do it because, it was the biggest stage that, Canada has. And why go for the smallest? Why not go for the biggest? So that's what I decided to do. Yeah.
What was the preparation like?
The preparation was, I would say, very smooth. I guess, I had a lot of training beforehand, like doing interviews when I was younger. So the preparation for doing the auditions was basically me submitting a video of myself singing. I think I had to do 3 submissions of videos. And then I had to do one just explaining who I was as a person and why would I be chosen to be a person to audition in front of the judges. And when I auditioned, I got a reply like right back, like the next day.
Mm.
The next day.
How did you feel, bro?
I felt like it was a scam. I felt like it was unreal.
Okay, yeah.
I was like, oh my
It
God,
came too
there's no
quickly.
way they responded to me that quickly out of
Yeah.
all of the people. Because I remember them telling me
Wow.
that, almost like 10,000 people applied. And they had to bring it down to 100 people. And I was like, wow, like what's happening,
Did you, in that video, did you have to mention anything about like where you're from or what
Yes.
your background is and stuff like that?
Yeah, I did. I had to basically include, they didn't really give a structure of what was expected. I knew that when I did the audition, or the application, should I say, I had to make it very sentimental. I had to make it very true and very raw to who I am as a person. Because, the judges don't want to see anybody, who's like, like very shallow. They don't want to see anybody being pretentious. I think when I went in, I just auditioned and I was like, Cassim, just say who you are. Explain what your passion is. And I think when you explain your passion, people can't really challenge it because it is personal, it's authentic. And I think once I did that, I think that's what they saw in the audition, in the application.
Cassim really has a good head on his shoulders. NIgel, I mean,
Oh, yes.
just listening to Cassim, wow.
Thank you.
This is a deep lesson.
So take us through the process. So you did the application, then you had the audition, and then what happens after that?
So wait, just repeat the question. Once I did the
I'm
audition
saying in terms of the
process.
So you did the application, and then you were selected from the number of applicants that they were. Part of the process of the application is submitting an audition and so on.
Yeah.
So what happened after that? Before you actually got onto the stage that night, what happened after that?
Yeah, so usually within the application process, the producers would reach out to you. They would begin, speaking about song choice that you would do. And I think, I was working at Scotiabank at the time, and I had to do all of the application preparation and stuff while I was at work. And it was basically just selecting the song and planning, the day that I would fly to Niagara Falls in Toronto to do the filming. So it was just a little bit of back and forth in terms of, song selection, finding the one that best suited my voice. Yeah, I think that's what it was.
What went into that? What went into you selecting which song? Was there any like, just let me just do this one, or were you really digging deep into all the songs that you had? What was the process?
I had a little bit of a challenge because there were so many songs that I feel suited me vocally. And I had to learn something with Canadian media, which is called clearance. So it's not just picking the best song. You have to get approval from the artist to actually utilize that song on that grand stage. So I would have submitted so many song requests, to do that. This is what I want. And it would be, basically shut down because, they didn't get authorization from that individual to use it. And it was a little bit of back and forth. And I just told myself that, Cassim, just know that it has to be a song that suits your voice. It has to be a song that will allow you to close your eyes, feel what you're saying, and allow the people else to feel it. Yeah.
You had a team working with you? You had a group of people working with you, helping you?
I didn't. I basically had, Jenny Jackson, who is my friend back home. We would be on calls during the time that I'm at work, and she would tell me, Cassim, like, perform it, let me hear it, like over WhatsApp video. And I think when I sang it, even the song that I auditioned, she was like, maybe not that song. Wow. And it ultimately became that song, but I had to basically sing it and get another musician's, perspective on what, it could be. But basically it was myself, always trying to find what suited me.
So for you, the song had to be like impactful as well? It had to be...
Yes, I know that it had to be impactful. It had to be very storytelling. And I know that it had to resonate with my story and my, ambition. When someone sings a song and, they're not, linked to the song, you can almost hear it. And I think once someone is linked to a song and it's emotionally, challenging for them, you can hear it in the voice, Yeah.
Wow. On the day of the audition, because I'm interested in the backstory, right? Because especially for our artists who are at home right now, who may be thinking that this is just going out there and do this and this is it. It's a lot of preparation and it's a lot of effort that have to go into this. So on the day of the audition itself, what was happening to Cassim then?
I think at the audition, I know I say this a lot, I was very emotional. I think, taking the plane from Vancouver to Toronto, I remember having like a mini panic attack. I was basically listening with my headphones, the instrumental, like the backing track of what I was going to perform. And, I was just in the lounge and listening to it. And, I started crying, in the midst of the people who were going to travel with me. And they were shocked. They were like, oh my God, what's happening? And I told them, I'm just very happy. I'm just very emotional. And it makes me feel so overwhelmed that it's actually happening. And they had to reassure me that, yes, it's happening. Let's take our time, just breathe and relax. And for the audition itself, when I arrived, it was so grand. The lights, the camera, the production crew. It felt like something like I would see as a child on Disney Channel and the shows. And everything was so organized and professional. I think I learned so much about media and, training of individuals in that space of media just by being in that audition. And I think before I even went on the stage, it was a lot of anxiety. And once again, it was an anxiety of being fearful of the people in the crowd. It was a fearfulness of, the own expectations that I had set upon myself. And that's what I wanted to conquer. And I think once I realized that I was going through it a little bit well, I was a little bit relieved.
Wow, I'm sure a lot was going through your mind. You come from Soufriere, you come from a small island, Dominica, Kashaku. You prefer call your community, and fishing village, and the community was close knit. And then look at where I am now. I'm sure a lot of emotions were just like.
Yes, there was a bit coming together. Did you have to get like permission from your work? Did you have to take leave? How did you fund this? Was this funded by the committee that selected you, or you had to take care of your own stuff? How
so for the auditions, everyone basically pays for their own flight and everything. So it was, I would say, somewhat a risk. So I told myself, Cassim, just go do your audition. And when I did the audition, I was basically in a transition process. So I had just left Scotiabank, and I got a new offer with another bank, Canada Life, which does insurance. And the audition was basically filmed within that gap of me being, leaving Scotiabank and starting. So I had a 2-week gap in between. And my audition was actually the day before I started my new job. So right after I auditioned, the same day, I flew back to Vancouver. And I started my next job Monday morning, and I had to keep it to myself. I literally, with the golden buzzer, which we'll soon speak about, I remember having the confetti that they gave me in a small plastic bag and literally throwing it back up in the air and reliving that moment. And it was unreal. It was really unreal.
So audition day. By the way, Ivona, is anybody on the phone if you want to take a call? No? Okay. So audition day, you're there with all the other artists who are also auditioning and everything else. This is kind of new for you. I'm trying to get a feel of what it is like on that just couple, hours and not hours, minutes before you get on stage.
Actually.
Hours, okay. So it's hours there, and you're there. What's happening back there? Is this all the artists together in one space? Are you guys talking to each other? Do you have to go and is there a rehearsal room that you go to? What's happening?
Yeah. So during the pre-audition stuff, backstage, there's so much filming that's happening. So all of the little preview of myself, introducing, myself from Dominica, we're doing all of this filming. I remember for the audition, I woke up at 5 a.m. I had to be there at 6, and then I ended basically almost at 3 o'clock. So all of that time, we were filming, doing interviews that they could piece together for, the camera and the viewing on YouTube. And there were so many artists, people who were there with just a mop, funny costumes, things that you would think that are very untraditional and very pragmatic, I should say. But I think once I was there, I was not even showcasing, my talents. I was speaking with everybody. I was being very, cordial with everybody and getting to know everybody's story, getting to know who they were, and allowing them to see who I was as well. But during the time, I just did not sing. I did not even eat because I was riddled with anxiety, and I was just telling myself, "Oh my God, Cassim, if you eat right now, it's just Malvan that will take you." Because when you have, you haven't eaten for so long.
I know.
I was like, Cassim, let's just eat after the performance. And I remember after I finished the performance, I was just, oh my God, I'm so hungry, guys.
Wow.
But it was incredible backstage. It was very inspiring. Just seeing the lights and everybody else chasing their dreams. And as I mentioned before, like people all have things that they want to accomplish in their lives. And what really keeps us going are the dreams that we have, are the wants in our lives. Because if it weren't for that, we would just say, let me pass it myself somewhere, So it was incredible. It was beautiful.
Nice. I love that. I love the journey, man. I love the journey.
Thank you.
And then, of course, you are there by the curtains and you get waiting for your name to be called.
Yeah.
They announce Carsim Birmingham, next artist and next performer to come on. At that point in time, do you tell yourself, this really happening to me? Or
at that time, I wasn't even thinking. I was just saying, Cassim, just remember the starting of the song. Because when you get anxious, I don't want to be like a Calypsonian that forgets his lines, I was just telling myself, oh my God, Cassim, remember the first line. Like, that's what you have to say.
And the rest will follow.
And, yeah.
Wow.
So they call Cassim and he gets on stage. What happens?
So, actually, when you go on stage, you don't even announce who is coming out. You don't introduce your name or anything. So they just say, Cassim, the judges are ready for you. And then I go out on stage, and that's when you saw me like waving. And I begin just introducing myself, where I'm from, my story, and what I'd want to do. And then, there were some questions asked by the judges. And in that moment, I was looking at Shania Twain and the rest of the judges, and I was just like, oh my God, these people, like, this cannot be real. And then, they told me, go ahead and sing. And then I performed. And at the end, I was in tears because I realized everything was now becoming full circle for me. And I enjoyed being in that moment. And I enjoyed the people who have allowed me to be in that space. And it was such a great reception from the audience because people were applauding, people were standing, people were cheering for people to hit the golden buzzer. And when I heard the crowd's reception in that manner, I started to cry even more because I was like, oh my God, I'm accepted for who I am. I am seen. Like, I wasn't ever voiceless, because I always use my voice. But I had a lot of representation to bring on that stage, and it allowed me to do so. And it was just really heartwarming for me.
I mean, we've seen the videos, we've seen the, snippets of it and everything else of you doing that song. But I know Ivona wants a song. I don't know what song she wants, but I know she wants a song.
No one I'm looking crying because you see right now, you say not talking much, NIgel. Something taking me away. Seriously.
So give Ivona
what
a
story.
Cassim, and then of course
any song
will go to the buzzer and what happens after that. Any song you want to give Ivona, it's fine.
Any song will do.
Okay.
Perfect, we play WhatsApp.
Don't make me close one more door. I don't wanna hurt anymore. Stay in my arms if you dare. Must I imagine you there? Don't walk away from me. Don't walk away from me. Don't you dare walk away from me. I have nothing if I don't have you.
She feels better now.
To sing a song from Whitney Houston, Papa, Cassim. And you heard when Johnny sang a song from Whitney just recently, right? I'm not sure if you followed.
I was
at one of the shows, was it there?
As well.
Nice. Wow. Cassim.
Yes.
Oh boy.
So you are.
Thank you.
you're now in front of the judges. You've sung your song, or you've done the song and everything else, and you're there waiting. At that moment, are you still telling yourself, is this happening to Cassim, or you just realize, hey, this is it now?
I think I realized that this was it now. I had, taken off the biggest weight of my shoulder, which was performing. So that was, a relief. And I think just awaiting their decision and, hearing what they had to say about me singing made me feel like, okay, Cassim, this is real. And you just have to relax and wait for what is going to happen next.
But was there a split second, even before the judges spoke, and of course you did the crowd, the loud applause and all of that, but was there a time that you just tell yourself, yes, I nailed it, like in your mind, yeah, I did well, or you hard on yourself?
I think I knew that I wouldn't say that I think that I nailed it. Even though my performance was very good, I didn't tell myself, or I wasn't thinking that I nailed it. Because all I was thinking about was my story and the passion that I wanted to showcase. Of course, in the back of my mind, like, I was telling myself, boy, I want to get that golden buzzer. I want to get it. But in that moment, it was just me anticipating their response. Because, it could be anything. It could be them saying, they didn't like it, which I would hope that wouldn't be their comment. But it could be anything.
And you'd have looked at previous shows, and even America Got Talent and others, and the judges sometimes they can be very harsh.
Exactly. Yeah. So I just told myself, Cassim, just embrace whatever is the outcome. But once I saw the crowd cheering and standing, I told myself, I think something good is about to happen. Yeah.
And then they started speaking.
Yeah.
And tell
and
us.
then I had Shania Twain. Shania Twain is, or should I say, a principal song that you would hear in like weddings. Just, if you're having a wedding, from this moment, that kind of vibe, you would hear stuff happening. Yeah. She mentioned to me that this is what this show is made for. People like me, talented people. And I was already brought to tears when I was done. And having somebody of such grandeur tell me that, it was very reassuring that what I have was God-given, and it is something that is supposed to be used in the way that I'm using it.
Yeah. It is that talent that has to be shared and has to be exposed.
When God asks, what do you do with the talent I gave?
Because I can only imagine the people who have it and
they're not using it.
They're in an environment where they can't.
Or they're procrastinating, or they're done. I don't know. Wow.
Yes, we'll allow Ivona to continue crying, so that's okay.
Yeah.
Crying is very good for the soul, I can tell you that much. It's very refreshing. It's exhilarating. It helps. So Shania Twain does a thing, and they go to each of the judges.
Yeah.
And then when they go to that particular judge, who eventually gave you that buzzer, what was his comments before, if you remember? Because probably by then you were in a whole different zone. I don't know.
For his comments, I actually remembered exactly what it was, because it was so special to me. So I had to try to remember it, even though I was immersed with a lot of emotions. I remember him telling me, well, there are versions that were cut out, because for production. I remember him saying that he has seen a lot of acts. And, he was saying, like, how he's great. Shania Twain is great. The other judge, Catherine, she's great. But he told me that, Cassim, you're incredible. And that he has been waiting for an act like me, so that he could utilize his golden buzzer. And for the people who don't know, when I auditioned on the last day. And I told myself there were 6 buzzers that they could give, and I'm on the last day. And I remember telling myself, I am going in there with the attitude that, the buzzer is there for me. But I still had the doubt as well, that maybe it's not going to happen, because it's little me, coming from this small island. What are they going to think of my talent? I expected it to be maybe a good reception, but golden buzzer worthy was something I just kept to myself in my mind. And when he pressed that golden buzzer and he told me he wanted it to be for something that he's never seen, something he hasn't heard of, I felt so seen and validated. I cannot even express how much I was. And especially coming from another Black person, there's so much, happening in this world with people racially. I think it was very reassuring for me with that specific judge who also has Caribbean roots to tell me that I was seen. It was validating to see me on that stage. And I knew that it was not full circle for my talent and my wishes, but it was full circle for me as a young.
Yeah.
For me as a young person, it was very validating. Like, I can't even explain. I don't even have any words, really. I can only say that it's beautiful, it's wonderful, but what is really entrenched in my heart is it's incredible. It was incredible. Yeah. And no matter how many times I speak about it, I would still cry. It's like I have to bring myself back to tell myself that to tell myself that it's real. It's I can't explain how much gratitude I was filled with. I can't. Yeah.
Especially when you consider from Soufriere, you consider the bullying that you went through.
Yeah.
At school, the various remarks that might have been said, the various comments that might have been said, and having to endure all of that and to stand there on that particular night and receive not just congratulations, not just you've made it, but to receive the golden buzzer, which takes you to the finals.
Yeah.
And to hear someone tell you you're incredible and this is what I've been waiting for.
Yeah.
That in itself, I mean, it's full circle.
It is, yeah. And I just want to provide a little bit of clarification for like what the golden buzzer meant. So there are actually 3 rounds. So there is the audition, there is the semi-final, which they call the elimination, and then there is the finale. So once you get the golden buzzer, you go straight to the semi-final, to the semi-finals. So it's not the finale as yet, but it's the semi-finals. And watching this show, from outside, you would basically say, once the person gets 4 yeses, the person gets through. And that actually isn't the case. So I could have gotten 4 yeses without the golden buzzer, and they would have to adjudicate whether or not I was, suitable for the storyline of the show to have me move on to the next round. So, like, there were people who got 4 yeses who you won't see within the next round because it's on a selection basis. So the golden buzzer represents me having to not be within that selection pool of people that they would have to choose and pick. It would just send me right away to the semifinals. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
We'll talk about this. We'll talk about what happens after now because I guess now you're preparing and preparing for the next phase and so on and so forth and forth.
Yeah.
What happens next? Cassim, I'm going to bring up something which if you want to talk about, you can. If you don't want to, that's fine.
Yeah.
Because I know that you mentioned that particular juncture in terms of your sexuality and the fact that you had to maybe not be as expressive as you were if you were in Dominica. And now you've been able to come full circle as well in terms of being to express yourself.
Yeah.
Is that something you want to touch on?
Yeah, of course. I think during my time in Dominica, I always knew that I was very different from everybody, every other guy, I always told myself that, Cassim, your voice is different. You're more passionate about things. You're more expressive about things. And I realized that I was a queer individual in Dominica. And it wasn't in a way, me trying to hide on my own. I think it was just something that I had to be very mindful of because there were people in my lives that, I didn't want to disappoint. I felt that it would maybe be a burden placing that upon them. And I had to tell myself that once all I could do within Dominica is, exude kindness, be humble. And I think that in itself would speak for me as an individual. And I think moving to Canada, I didn't really change anything about myself because, I was always the same person. I'm still humble. You would still, I still have my accents. I have to always put it on, for interviews, because I speak at work. I speak French with clients. So I would have to speak a little bit differently, in a professional setting. But if I were to be in Sufre right now, I would be unchanged. So I was always the same person. I think it was just a matter of being more relaxed, at ease, and knowing that when someone saw me, they didn't see me for what I was possibly hiding. They saw me for everything that I was showing. They were seeing my talents, they were seeing my story. And I knew that when I went on that stage, it would be something that's a little bit more refining, more redefining to the people who are going to see, back home. Because I know that there are so many people, be it, regarding to sexuality or not, it could be, their identity, how they look, how dark they are, how fair-skinned they are. Because, as Caribbean people, we have things that segregate us as individuals. I don't want to get too academic, but we have things that segregate us as individuals. And colorism is a big factor in Dominica. So we have people who have their own struggles of identity. And it wasn't only about a sexuality thing for me, but it was to raise awareness for the people in Dominica that there's so much that surrounds us as individuals. There's so much that separates us, but there's so much more that makes us together as people. And I think that's what we should be placing emphasis on, and that's what we should be marketing. And I wanted to see how I could do that in that light. And I was very subtle with the way that I said it.
Yes.
To allow people to know what I was saying and to take it upon themselves to understand what that meant for them within a Dominican society.
Like that.
Well said. Well said.
I really
well
love
said,
this,
well
NIgel.
said.
I mean, you have to realize you're a person. You are wonderfully made, and I know a lot of people are struggling. A lot of people have a lot of challenges, as you mentioned. A lot of people are going through a lot. But and you're still very young, a young man to speak about this, and you feel comfortable, right? Okay.
And that is
Cassim,
it.
That's the,
yeah, I do. Yeah, of course. Yeah. I feel like I'm a very honest person. I usually set myself, even if it was something, that I for sure was uncomfortable with, I would still explain and, comment on it in a way that I think is politically correct, that, is still going to be digestible. Because I think, with questions that build discomfort, you can only be uncomfortable when you grow. If you're growing and you're comfortable, you're not growing as yet. So that's what I tell myself, and Ivona, you don't have to worry about comfort because I am myself. I will always be that passionate person.
Yeah, man, that's good. That's good.
So what happens next now, Cassim, in terms of the next when is the semifinals?
But by the way, even before
you ask, yes, go ahead.
No, I was just asking. Even before you go there, so who was in terms of family and friends? Who was at the event with you? At that big moment.
Yeah, so I had my partner there. I had my best friend, Amoy. I had my nephew, and I had my brother, who I hadn't seen in, I think at that time, 3 or 4 years.
Oh, yeah?
So it was unreal. I remember when I went on stage, I couldn't even see them. Because all I could see was just people. I couldn't even really see them. But, they were my supporters. It was a small group. I didn't go with a rounders team or anything. It was just small and intimate. And, because I didn't know what was going to come out, about the audition yet. So
right.
I was like, I don't want to go too big,
What was their reaction, though, when the golden buzzer was? I mean, well, you probably won't have seen immediate reaction, but after, what was their reaction like?
I think I only saw their reaction on watching this show because as I mentioned, when I was on stage, I couldn't see them. Even though you saw my brother signaling me, I couldn't see anything because I was just trying to keep myself focused. And their reaction afterwards, when I got the golden buzzer, was just heartbreaking. I remember when I saw there was a golden buzzer moment that we filmed separate afterwards, and then they basically had my brother and everybody else behind the curtain, and I didn't know they were standing there for 10 minutes while I was filming, and then they brought them in, and I just started crying. And my brother, who doesn't cry that much, he was crying, and I was very surprised because that's his little brother, and as I say all the time, there are so many people instrumental in your life that protect you, that look over you, that support you more than you even think. And I think having him see me and having him be there was something that was very important to me as a young person, as his brother. Yeah.
Nice. So what happens? By the way, have you done any additional vocal training or anything while singing?
No, I have not. I actually just sing at home. Like
That's
I
it.
just
Okay.
I just sing at
Man,
home.
that's
Yeah.
a beautiful talent. God give
Yeah,
you bless.
thank you. Thank you.
So
What
at what
happens
point
now?
did you call your mom, though?
Sorry, go ahead, Ivona.
At what point did you call your mom? And what
I
happened?
called my mom right after. Come on, like afterwards, I tried to get her, and my mom was, I think, in Astafans, and she was in town. I was like, oh my god, how am I going to get my mom? My mom has to be the first person I talk to. I need to. Where's the phone? And my brother called his girlfriend who was beside my mom, and my mom started shouting in Astafans, and I was like, "Mommy, like, calm down. You cannot be like, people will say something steal your phone, man, or something." So I was just telling her, "Mommy, calm down." Explaining to her what actually happened, the money that I had won, and I think she took it as me auditioning as, I'm happy for him. Let's see what happens. But in actuality, her recognizing that this is what actually happened, it was a lot. She was so filled. She wanted to tell people near her what happened, and I was like, "Mom, you can't do that. People cannot know us yet." And so it was very inspiring for me. Very, very touching for me.
Yes. So what happens next in terms of now you
Like the next round?
Yes.
Yeah. So to the people who are going to be watching, the next round has already been filmed. I filmed it so my audition last year was in October. And then I filmed the semifinals in December, and all during this time I'm still at work. So I would fly, I would come back and head back to work. So the semifinals, I think, is going to be aired in May, I think a week or so before the finale. Yeah.
So at that, did you do the same song or did you do something different?
No, it's a different song. Yeah, different song. Yeah.
Okay.
I can't reveal what song.
No,
you can. You should know.
We don't want to do that because we want to make sure when we watch it, we're like, wow. No, we don't want to do it yet. No. But was there any additional preparations you had to do for that? It was just the same thing again, the same.
I think it was the same thing. Yeah, just submitting, the song request, seeing which song would work best. And I think at that stage I had a lot of difficulty because, a list of the songs that I wanted to do, I really wanted to perform, I couldn't get them, and I just told myself, oh my God, I really hope that it doesn't have an impact on me because the songs that I really want to sing that are best suited for me, I can't get the authorization to use it. So I can just say that whatever song that I performed, I made it my own. I added my sense of Cassim to it. And I think it was a good performance.
Nice. Yeah. We definitely look forward to that.
Thank you.
And there's a voting process, is there?
Yeah, so there will be a voting process. So usually for the eliminations, for those who haven't seen Canada's Got Talent, there would be a part of the show where, some people go to the finals like right away with the judges' consideration, and some people are put up for public vote. Some people go home that night. So we'll wait to see which part I am of.
Right.
Yeah.
And just to let everybody know, if for any reason is in the voting part of it, vote.
Yeah.
All right. 70,000 votes right away. Okay? No excuses.
Yeah.
But I mean, Cassim, listen, man, this has been inspiring. This has been, very inspiring for me and for those who've been. The comments, if you get a chance and you get back to look onto the Facebook and YouTube and look back, you will see all the different comments and the congratulations people have been saying. More importantly, how they've been saying you've inspired them and they appreciate what you've been doing for them. And of course, the fact that do you feel pressured in a sense that you're not only representing Cassim, you're now representing Dominica on that big stage?
Of course. Because I was telling myself once I got the golden buzzer, because it was very near the news of like Thea Lafont as well getting her gold medal.
Yes.
And in my mind, I started seeing like in the headlines, another gold for Dominica. I started telling myself that sort of thing. And there is pressure that comes with it, you know, because I feel like whenever there is representation of a country, it needs to be in a positive light. It needs to be something that raises so much awareness and fullness of that place. The only thing that was missing from the audition is me having a little, walk on the beach or something showcasing Dominica. That was all that would be, very,
Nice.
to tie it together. But I do have a little bit of pressure because I am going there small, with story, but big with impact.
Nice. I love that.
That's what I'm thinking because, there isn't anybody like me at the audition. I can tell you that for sure. There isn't anybody that was plucked from the Caribbean and put on stage, got a golden buzzer, going to the next round. There is no one like me. And I think that is a strength in the competition.
It is.
And I'm trying to embrace that. Yeah.
Yes. And I must say that
confidence.
you were mentioned in the parliament. Your parliamentary representative, Dennis Charles Pemberton, made sure that she mentioned you in
I haven't seen that video yet, but
in,
I was
in the
told.
parliament.
Yeah.
And she made sure she did that and congratulate you, and the rest of the parliamentarians, of course, give the applause. So that representation and acknowledgement was there.
Yeah.
So it's good to have that. It's good to have that kind of
Nigel.
recognition and support. You know what I mean?
This is a strong lesson in this program, Nigel. I've learned so much from this program. One of the takeaways for me, when I sum it all up, is that I am not defined by my struggles, by the challenges that I have gone through, but
Definitely
by my
not.
resilience.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
I see this
Oh,
in
yes.
Cassim. This says a lot.
It does.
When Nigel, the calls
And
are
for any
coming,
other
the
young-
calls are
For
coming.
any other young person.
Let
from
me
any
just take at least one
community
call.
that's,
Let me take at least one call because I tell you.
Okay, go ahead.
Hello, connecting the dots.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning to you.
Yes, I've been listening, and if I didn't call to applaud and congratulate and commend this guy for his efforts, to me, it wasn't worth listening to the show. So I want to publicly extend my congratulations to him on his accomplishment and going forward. And further, Phil, I want it to be known that as a Dominican, whatever or whenever a Dominican accomplishes anything, wherever he is and wherever it happens, it's a plus for Dominica. So take it one notch, my brother. I'll continue, or we will continue to pray for you. We wish you continued growth and success in your endeavors and going forward. Blessings aplenty. One love, Dominica we love. Bye for now.
Thank you so much.
That's a beautiful call, a beautiful last
Thank you.
call that we could take. Yes. And I mean, know that Dominica is behind you, Cassim. Know that we are rooting for you. Know that we're there supporting you in whatever you're doing, because you're representing us in some way. Whether it's forced, whether it's not. Whenever a Dominican does something out there on the international stage, we all feel proud of that, and it's a moment that we feel like it allows us to know that, like you say, small in size, but of course big in impact. And although we are a very small country, in context with the rest of the world,
Yes.
we can produce just as they can. And we thank you for being able to represent us and for being able to let others know that even if you're from the small little fishing community or small island, you can have big dreams and you can make it happen.
Yeah.
So
for sure.
we appreciate that, man. We appreciate you for that.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Nigel, the program
Yes,
finished
yes.
now. I could stay there still.
Well, me too. I have no
Wow.
problem staying there too. I'm okay, and Cassim is okay too, because before he leaves, he have to give you one final song. So I know it's not a problem, But I mean, in terms of, as you wind up for real though, in terms of your, I don't want to use the word advice, but just your thoughts to those who might be, thinking of the same, or pursuing the same dreams, or want to get into music, especially, young men who may feel like music is not, just your thoughts generally for them.
Yeah, of course. So I think there's so much that I'd want to say. I think I don't even have enough time to really give an explanation. But I think for the people who are listening and who are motivated by something, I think you owe it to yourself, your corporeal self, your spiritual self, to pursue what you want to achieve in your life. And I think there are so many circumstances that may follow, that may come about, that may blossom with thorns, with boulders. And I think the only thing that we need to do is see the light at the end of the road. Because there are so many things that will stop you, that will prevent you. But once you keep whatever you have at heart as your number one priority, everything will follow. I think, one of the things that my Auntie Lympha used to always tell me, I think even like most of my family members, just pray, put God first, and everything else will follow. And then that's such a Dominican saying.
Yes.
But really, and in fact, I think what it is imperative to do is really just keep your dreams at the center of everything that you do. The way that you interact with people are going to be, a very key step in your life, because networking is so important. I think you have to leave a good first impression on a lot of people. And for the individuals, I want to say, who may be struggling with their identity, it could be sexually, it could be, with their complexion, it could be with religion in Dominica, which are not big topics that we look at on a day-to-day basis. But to know that you are individually a representation of how you were intended to be. And I think as long as you keep that at the center of your heart, you treat people with kindness, blessings that are meant for you will follow. And don't be afraid to take challenges. Don't be afraid to take bigger steps than what is around you. Because if everybody is going to do the same thing and want to do the same steps, everybody's going to be not in awe of what you're going to do. So take big steps, take risks, and just enjoy everything through the moment. It sounds a little bit corny, a little bit cheesy, but fundamentally it is what we should be doing as individuals.
It is.
Aspiring for more. If something to you is attainable, think of the bigger thing. And that's what I always tell myself. It's not, my mom used to always tell me that I have a big head, I have a big mind. And I told mommy, yes, because if I have to have it, that's how I'm going to get the big stuff. Wow. And she saw it full circle. And I want to encourage everybody who's listening to do that. Chase your dreams, be yourself, and envelop yourself with people, and surround yourself with people that choose to love you for who you are, not what you have, not, what you can attain, but choose the people around you to love you for who you are at that time. Wow. And once you have that in your circle and you have that support, everything else will flourish.
That's a lot, Cassim. Yeah. Let me also tell you to find those magical people that vibrate at a similar frequency to yours. And, make them your family, because they are your friends, your inspiration.
Yeah.
I enjoy that program so much. I could just stay on and on. We want maybe a verse, a chorus of any song we'll do as we end. Nigel, this is really deep. This is really deep for me.
This was lovely. This was lovely connecting.
I know when I go back and look at it, although I hardly look at myself, I don't really like to look at myself. But when I go back and listen in particular, I'll scold myself. Because I act like as you do. No, but really. So Cassim, as we end, is there a song? Oh, by the way, is there a Bible verse that really stays with you, that you like you just always uphold? Or maybe any other verse, if not a Bible verse, but a quote or something, a quotation?
I think there are so many sayings that I can think of. People usually stereotypically, comment on like Maya Angelou, like Yet Still I Rise, those kind of verses. But I have a quote that I actually made up of myself on Facebook. And it's in French. With a lot of time and appropriate seasoning, we all become better people. And when you listen to it in French, it says, avec beaucoup de bons assaisonnements et du temps, ont devenu tous des meilleures personnes. So it sounds a little bit more romantic than
English. That's a different feeling.
But with a lot of time and the right seasonings, we all become better people. Mm-hmm. And I think that speaks so much to my story, because I was, a little seed in Dominica, and I was given the appropriate, seasonings. I was given the water, I was given the sunshine, undoubtedly. And with just time, I became a better person. I became what I wanted to be.
Beautifully.
So there's a verse. We have run out of time.
Of course, no problem. I can do just a verse and a chorus from my audition. I think that's okay.
Yes.
Yes, I do. I believe that one day I will be where I was right there, right next to you. And it's hard, the days just seem so dark. The moon and the stars are nothing without you. Told me not to cry when you were gone. But the feeling's overwhelming, it's much too strong. Can I lay by your side next to you, and to make sure you're alright? I'll take care of you. I don't want to be here if I can't be with you tonight. Thank you.
Carsim Birmingham, thank
Excellent.
you. Thank you so much
Appreciate
for
it.
coming
Thank
in
you
the
so much
program.
for connecting and sharing.
And I have a
your
feeling
talent.
we'll have you as a third guest, a fourth guest, and a fifth guest. I have a strong
Yes.
feeling. NIgel, what a program.
All the best, man. Continued success and all the best. More blessings.
Thank you so
upon
much, guys.
All the
I
best.
want to say thank you to you guys as well for being exceptional hosts. Thank you
We
so
try.
much for the time.
Yeah.
Of course.
All the best to you. Wow,
Thank you.
that's it. NIgel, we'll do it again next week, God willing.
Yes, my dear.
We should
connect
have
again
Sister
next
Nats,
week. All right.
Nats next week. We're going to talk health. So
Yes,
yeah,
yes,
look out for
yes.
this as well. All right, Cassim,
do
take care. All right, NIgel.
All right, my dear.
Yes, sir. Feeling good? Yeah, man, we're coming on nicely. This is DG Fun Time. And if you're just joining us, a warm welcome to you. Welcome aboard. Oh, yeah. Another Saturday. Yeah, man, that's how we do it, you know. Each and every Saturday, it's all about DG Fun Time with your boy, Major Mystic, okay? Just want to say thank you for digging the vibe.